Tonight, this episode of the Offered Podcast tonight is sponsored by Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve.
Off-road podcast. Wow, this is going well. From the top.
It's your turn. Just do your part right now.
Just do it. Okay, right now. Okay. Off-road podcast episode. There's no episode number. We're off to a great start, guys. Off-road podcast episode 387. ABCs of off-roading.
Tonight, Aaron saves some money. Jeremy falls in love with all seasons. And Coy drives some doctors around. Ben lays down the miles.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron. My name's Ben, and we have co-hosting or guest hosting again, Coy. Welcome to the show.
That was terrible.
I know.
That's got to be one of our worst intros in a long time.
I know. Hopefully Ben can fix it up in post.
Yeah, right. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Well, I'll go first here since I'm talking. So mentioned I saved some money. I was moments away from buying some new upper ball joints for my upper control arms because I could not get the castle nut on. I've got some SPC upper control arms, and when I demoed out my suspension, I must have nicked one of the ball joint threaded portions, and like I could not get it on. I came inside, I looked up pricing, did a lot of research on them, and while I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to give it one more shot. I'll go out there and try to put a file to it. So I actually just completely took the upper ball joint out of the control arm because it's just held in by a really large retaining nut. And I took it and put it in a vise, and I cleaned it, and then I tried to get the nut on and back it off and put it on and back it off. I flipped the castle nut on, so I put it on the wrong way, and it actually went farther putting the castle on upside down, and was able to clean the threads on and off. If I had the right size tap and die set, I could have cleaned the nut and the threads on it, but I didn't have either. So just kind of had to work at it. And then I went at it with a triangle shaped file and filed what I thought was the boogered spot. And eventually I got it on there. So, yeah, that saved me $130 or whatever for a pair of upper ball joints. My truck it's not anywhere near needing them. The only miles I have on it is the trip to Moab and last year's snow trip, and then a little bit of driving around town. So they aren't anywhere near needing to be replaced. So save me some money. But yeah, so I worked on my truck this past week. And then also I worked on my shop. So here's the back of my shop, and you can see that I'm just starting to put up the clear plastic. And I got off work a couple hours early one day, so I jumped on this and I did everything with an extension ladder. And that extension ladder was at its absolute limits, but I got it all done right as the sun was going down. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm dried in on 3 sides. Got that done. Here's an inside shot. You can see the parts truck and the Frontier in there. So
you're almost there.
Shot.
You're well on the way.
And this looks like snow on the ground, but this is ice, as you're going to hear about from Coy. I'll let Coy tell the ice story. But yeah, so that's the front. I don't have any money right now in the bank for buying garage doors, so it's going to be a while before we get the front put together. But my uncle, who I'm helping out, is going to let me keep half the money for selling his pickup truck. So that will fund my garage doors. Thank goodness. So I'll have some garage doors as soon as I sell trucks. So if anybody's looking for an early 2000s F-150 super cab, let me know. I'll hook you up. Also, while working on the truck, I got the power steering leak taken care of. You can see the new power steering cooler in there. Worked out perfect. The only problem is these little things that you shove through the radiator sections. One of them broke before I even got to put it in. So that cooler's only held in by one. And I sent an email off to the company trying to get something, see if I can get something. I don't know.
Just JB weld it right to your radiator.
Well, in the past, when I've reused these things, I've used zip ties, but because it's halfway down the radiator, not up at the top of the radiator, I can't just like shove a zip tie through and loop it around. It'd be a really big loop, but if I have to, I will. Josh says my lights don't match. The lights are the same. Here, I'll go back to that picture. The lights are the same, but they have covers on them. One is a diffuser cover and one doesn't diffuse. So basically one's a spot and one's a flood. I've got two covers of each, but I just run one of each style on there. They're so bright. One is a spot, one is a flood. Works really well. So, Eric says 2 zip ties. Yeah, it would probably be like 4 zip ties for how far around it's got to go. Yeah, Mark's got to figure it out. Spot and flood. He's in the comments there with it. So, and the last thing about what I got going on is I mentioned I got some free cabinets. Here are some of the cabinets. This is probably 2/3 of the cabinets I got. So pretty stoked to be able to use those. And it came with a top, a really, I want to say a really nice top. It's just OSB, but they put like a polyurethane clear coat on it. And so it's really smooth and whatever. So water resistant. So yeah, it'll look good in there once I find a place and figure that all out. So, but it was good working on the truck. I got basically everything done on the front end with the exception of swapping over the brake lines. So I need to get the brake line unhooked from the old caliper and connected to the new caliper and bleed the brakes. And then once the brakes are bled, I can have somebody stand on the brakes while I tighten the axle nuts while I torque the axle nuts. So yeah.
So
that's where I'm at.
Just might have the thing ready for the snow trip.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we got 4 weeks. We got 4 weeks till the snow trip.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
Is it the 26 or 27, 28, 29?
20. No, it's 20.
20. Yeah. Right.
We got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, basically 4 weeks.
No, it's less than that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, 3.5. 3.5 because it's Monday and we're leaving on a Friday. So we got 3.5 weeks till the snow trip. And I'm still emailing back and forth with Patagonia about trying to run some of their tires. And he sends about 1 email per week. And I'm very, very clear about what I'm looking for and wanting. And then he asks questions that I have to respond to. So I might not have Patagonias in time. We'll see.
What tires are you going to run then?
I'll run the tires off the Nissan Titan, which are mounted up on some spray painted Titan wheels. I think they're 31s. So it'll be worse than
countries or something.
No, they don't even match. It's 2 and 2.
Well, Ben keeps pretending he's a hotshot snow wheeler now that he got his new tires last year. So we'll have him pull you up the hill this time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's going to have what he's telling us. He puts 25,000 miles a year on his rig, even though it's more like probably more like 12,000 miles a year. But
and he hasn't been driving it much at all.
That's true.
The Camry a lot.
Yep, the Camry or his minivan or who knows what. So he'll have less tread.
I was gonna say at 25,000 a year, those Patagonias, if he really did from last snow season to now put 25,000 on, no go.
They're done.
Yeah, I don't know what their mileage rating is, but I feel like he'd be approaching end of life.
Yeah. I think they're rated for 40,000. I think they have 40,000 mile warranty on them. But Like Jeremy says, I don't think he's really running 25,000 miles a year like he thinks he is. So
Especially not now.
the math doesn't add up.
No.
Just speaking of tires, Mark Dibble says he's getting some new Mickey Thompsons tomorrow. Which ones and what size, Mark?
Yeah. And also, speaking of tires, Jeremy, what have you been up to?
Well, I get a really good chance to test my wife's new tires now. I'm still a little bit bitter that they're all season tires and not all terrain tires for her cross track, but they did really impress me in the ice storm that we had. There was still tons of grip, and so I guess there's that, but they still should be all terrains.
Can we have a quick mini debate on winter ice and snow tires versus studded tires? What are your guys' thoughts on those?
I mean, I'd always go just a good set of winter non-studded tires personally, unless you're like going up and doing like the ice road or something.
When you say winter tires, you mean like Blizzaks, like studless snow tires?
Yes.
I got sold on some of those studless snow tires years ago. Buddy of mine got some. We were driving over the pass, and he started whipping back and forth in the snow in a Jetta, making like the body roll. And my mind was blown about the traction they have. So, but if you're on pure ice, like we kind of had this weekend, I'm sure they're better than all seasons. But I think studs or chains are what you're going to need.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my opinion of studs is they are only useful for such a small percentage of the time, especially in our climate. I mean,
In our climate, yeah.
If you're in an area that gets a lot of freezing rain, I might go studded snow tires, but out here you're gonna do way better in just with like a set of Blizzaks.
And I
tried. Go ahead.
I have a hard time. I mean, the studs obviously wear out, but I think they wear out considerably before the tire does. So I don't know what the actual good lifespan of those studs. They're amazing, brand new, but you don't have to run them that long before they're just rounded metal, which we know rounded metal doesn't have good grip on ice. So I don't know. I'm not a big studs fan.
Yeah. They probably will wear less if you are in constant ice,
right,
versus constant wet pavement like the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, that's my stance too. You guys just mirrored what I was saying. I was talking to a buddy over the weekend, and he told me he was at Les Schwab getting some studded tires put on a Subaru Outback, and I'm like, ugh.
And you laughed at him.
Man, I told him not to, but I doubt that anything changed. So, I told him, listen, I think they're great for ice, but we rarely get ice. We will get snow, and the winter tires perform well in cold temperatures too. So even if it's dry out, even if it's completely dry, they'll perform better than an all season would perform in cold temperatures.
Yep.
So Mark says studs are illegal in Colorado for road use. And that was the last thing I left him with. I was like, listen, studs chew up our highways. So I'm really not a fan for that reason. Now, if I lived in northern Minnesota and there was always compact ice and snow on the ground, I might change my tune, but
yeah,
I don't know.
And
go ahead.
Those Blizzaks in the summertime, once they've got down, you're ready to get rid of them. You go out and do burnouts. They are a smoke show. Like they get hot and just billow white smoke. It's amazing. You could be like at a 98 horsepower Honda, and people be like, "Wow, he spent a lot of money. Is that turbo? Like, what's got nitrous? What do you got?" You're like, "I got snow tires, baby."
That's fantastic.
That's funny.
I never thought about doing that.
Yeah, I never wore them down enough to do that, I guess. But
yeah, I really wanted to try to go burn out my wife's tires, but we just put that new clutch in there, and I didn't want to chance anything going wrong.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to do it, now's the time, because you can go back to the guy and be like, well, "This clutch is trash. Like, it's already burned up."
Well, I mean, we already got rid of the tires, so there's that. Coy,
Yeah.
what have you been up to? What's your ice story?
Well, we had the old ice storm here on Friday, so work got canceled, but I'm part of the search and rescue down here. So one of the missions they give us is during inclement weather, we'll ferry essential workers, so doctors, nurses, dispatch operators, and even like jail or prison. I don't know what the term is.
You're transferring
No.
prisoners?
No, I'm not transferring any prisoners.
Inmates.
We'll just get like halfway there, just like get out, man. Here's your chance. No, the actual like deputies and officers that work in those correction. Yeah, I like to call them prison guards, but then they're like, we're not prison guards, we're Leo. So, yeah, so we'll transfer those. So I got up about 5 and got my first pickup at 5:30 or so, and yeah, I spent the whole day doing that. Basically, I had a little bit of off time, and I started to head home down Highway 22. And I actually sent you some more pictures to your Facebook, Jeremy. Just every exit had cars off in the ditch, and me and just some random dude in a Jeep just started pulling out everybody we could. And half the cars were just abandoned that people had left, so we couldn't get everybody, but pulled everything out we could. And there's a picture of a Subaru I sent you that I'd like you to pop up.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. Sorry, I didn't see those come in, so I
So
didn't.
they did a good job, like the ODOT and all that, like sanding and de-icing like 22 and I-5. But it appeared that the exits, they were just like, you're on your own for ramps. So that is an on-ramp.
Oh, really?
That's a sheet
On
of
ramps and off ramps. I skipped.
There's a half-inch of ice there. Like, so we're on each side of that. That Subaru there was aired down on all-terrains. He was aired down on BFG all-terrains, and he there's almost no angle on that ramp, and he just slid off and couldn't really move.
I bet. Yeah.
So
those are you say BFG all trains, those are KO2s, which KO2s have a snowflake rating on them.
No, like they're
Wow.
they're a decent tire for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just, and every exit was that way, and a lot of the exits are a full 180 bank, and unless you really ripped around it, use centrifugal to keep you up, everybody was obviously going slow, and they just slide right off the road, and then you'd come up doing 40 miles an hour, just slingshotting yourself around them. But yeah, so like I put a winch on the back of that car and just pulled it across to the gravel, and they just drove in the gravel up and onto the 22. But there was 5 or 6 cars, on that ramp that just couldn't get off. Yeah,
Man, I hate
just
it when you
crazy.
can't get off.
Yeah. So then that's another one we pulled out. I'm disconnecting from it there. But yeah, and just where that car was sitting, there's a little bit of slope to the road. He almost got stuck after I disconnected. Me and another guy had to push on it and keep it up on the road till it leveled out and he could get going. But yeah, then I had an interesting experience. I had to go up on this hill and get a doctor early in the morning, and it's doctors live on hills because
Ben says negative 26 in Montana was fub.
I believe it. Oh, fun. I thought he was doing like an abbreviated FUBAR, but either way. Yeah.
Nope, it's just
fub.
Just fub.
So he's up on this hill, and earlier in the morning, I trucked right up that hill, and it was steep and kind of sketch, and it was pure ice. I did like 2 miles an hour, chugged up it, got him, and then like 1 mile an hour, just eased down it. This is up somewhere between a half mile and a mile. Had curbs, luckily, and then had 2 corners in it. They were kind of big sweepers. Then I had to go back up there and get some more people in the evening, and I more low and get the locker on. It got icier because it was kind of raining on and off throughout the day. 4 low, had the locker on, got almost to the top, and I thought the one side street was my turn, so I let off and kind of looked and started to turn. Then I was like, oh no, it's the next one. So I needed to back up like a foot so I could turn and go straight. I stopped, backed up 1 foot, and then gravity was like, you're mine now. And I was just full sail backwards. But nothing I could do. So I was flying backwards, probably 15 miles an hour, and enough time that I put my truck in neutral, turned off my locker, took it out of 4 low, put it in 4 high, put it back in drive, and was just to get my anti-lock brakes back. Got myself where I could kind of brake a little bit and got it steered over against the curb. Then once I was in the curb gutter, as I'm flying backwards, I could turn my front tire against the curb and drag my tire along the side of the curb. And eventually I got to a stop. I was already at about 15 PSI. So I got out, but first I got opened the door and shook the truck to make sure it wasn't going to take off on me once I got out. I got out. Those I dropped down to about 9 and 8 PSI, really low. And then put it in reverse and just bumped it. And then same thing. I was almost uncontrolled backwards. I'd get up to about 15 miles an hour. But luckily it had a curb, or I'd have just made a drive through of somebody's roof down lower in the hill.
Wow.
So I'd use my front tire to drag, turn it against the curb and drag it down there. And eventually it just pushed the whole truck out of the gutter. And then I'd straighten it out, and then it'd suck me back into the gutter, and I could turn against it. And I went around 2 corners and all the way to the bottom like that. And it was not a cool experience, but it was interesting. So I called them and said, "Hey, if you'd like to walk to where I'm at, you're more than welcome, but I'm not going to be picking you up at your front door." And the guy was like, "Yeah, I walked outside and I couldn't even hardly walk in my driveway, so I don't think I walked to you." I'm like, "Why did you think I was going to drive to you?"
Yeah, people don't understand.
I don't know. So
what do you mean? SAR didn't give you studded snow tires for that one day?
They don't give me anything ever. Give us a hard time if you don't make training hours. That's about it. I get a fuel reimbursement. Then my last pickup of the day, this poor lady, I called her. She comes out. She comes off the steps. It was 4 steps, and she just went horizontal and straight to the ground. I thought she was dead. And she was on the phone with me while it happened, so I'm in the truck watching it, but I could hear her just, "Oh God," And but she was okay. I dropped her off. I hope she's okay. So then,
well, you took her to the right place, anyways. You took her to the hospital, right?
Took her to the hospital. Then today, I actually got a chance to. A buddy of mine, Richard, he bought a 6.5 Creed Savage 110, and we sighted it in out here. And then I shot my 5.7 Ruger 5.7. My brother brought his VR80 12 gauge shotgun. It's all white and all Stormtrooper looking, and that was a very fun time. And shot we shot most of the day, just blinking. So it was a good day.
I figured I'd play the slow-mo video because it was a little bit longer, but you can talk over it, Coy. You're muted, Coy.
Yeah. I think it was actually pretty impressive as a VR80 12 gauge AR platform, 12 gauge shotgun. And we're in ran it through its break in, and it was shooting good by the end. So it was a cool gun.
That's good. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not dissing whoever owns that gun, your brother or whatever. I'm just not a huge fan of the AR platform shotguns. I feel like they're all made in Turkey and Croatia, and I've seen one in person, so I guess I only have one to compare it to, and the fit and finish of it was utter garbage. The front sight on it was just molded plastic for the sight that you slipped around the barrel, and there was a set screw that held it tight around the bottom of the barrel. That was it. There wasn't any notch or anything. So
I didn't look at his that close to be totally honest, but
Ben says that he loves AR shotguns. Aaron's just a naysayer. I guess I've only ever handled the one, and it was just pure garbage. So I've got only one to compare them to. So
I've handled a couple, and all the other ones I've been around, you spent half your time unjamming them and stuff, but this one, once once we kind of got through the break-in, it starts shooting really good. So I don't know. I mean, I don't plan on buying one. I got a Mossberg, so
Yeah. Yeah. Ben says the original ones are trash. So maybe the newer ones have gotten better. I don't know, but I don't know. There's plenty of other shotguns out there. I don't need to buy an AR pattern shotgun. We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. I haven't got an email from them yet telling us what next month's patch is, so January is going to be surprised. But usually they're snow themed, so it'll be some sort of snow tank or ski patrol with AR shotguns or something. I don't know.
And nods. Always nods.
Yeah, always nods. Yep. Someone mentioned, let's see if I can. Oh, I put my patch right here. Someone mentioned that this current month's patch, the Gucci Glock that we keep talking about, is like a CERT pistol. Apparently, CERTs are those laser training guns that are full size and everything, but they have red slides on them. So, never thought about that before. I doubt it's that way. I doubt it's just red because it's Santa, but just thought that was kind of an interesting thing.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a way you can
Also don't
your friends when you're doing CERT stuff? You just throw a red slide on.
Yeah. Just pretend.
put a tiny green vest on it. Act like you know what you're doing.
No, that's different CERT. That's different CERT, Koi. Also, don't forget you can get patches from us. Tim says the guy on the patch looks like Koi with a white beard.
I take that as a compliment. He's a handsome man with a lot of guns. He looked super tactical.
Yeah, very tactical. Don't forget you can get patches from us for $13 for the first one shipped and $10 for any additional patch in the same shipping package, or just $10 picked up. So make sure you check us out. Also, we did hear from our winner Paul from last week's episode, so unfortunately I don't get to keep these epic shackles. I'm gonna have to ship them out, and he is all the way on the other side of the US, so we will not be meeting up anytime soon. Sorry, Paul.
I was gonna say, do you have a nephew that lives on your property named Paul that won? Air quotes.
No nephew named Paul.
You didn't throw this one, huh?
No.
He only
I throw a
rigs
lot of
competitions.
Yeah. I throw a lot of competitions, but this wasn't one of them.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
Paul's in the comments here. He says he's South Carolina. I wasn't going to give away where you live, but South Carolina, and he can't wait to get him. He's just going to have to wait because who knows when I'm going to get to the post office. Just going to keep sitting on him. Just going to sit on him.
He'll give you a tracking number.
I don't see a profile picture, so I'm not certain he's real yet.
I'm over here typing on the side.
Yeah.
You want him to dox himself? Is that what you're saying?
Just said. It's just, I mean, it looks like a made up account. It's just an A. Blue, you know.
Yeah, for AA Ron. No, just kidding.
For a bot, probably.
Josh is in the comments that he bought some Colby valves today, which is awesome. And then Mark, I think, is talking to Paul in the comments. He says, "Are people using 300 blackout to shoot those power substations?" LOL.
That is the daddiest gun joke ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, well, we got some news, and it is all Toyota news tonight. Figured it'd be a good time to talk Toyotas since Ben's not here and Coy is. I don't really know what that means, but here we go. So our first news story, actually, both of these stories are from. Actually, Ben provided both of these news stories. I will say that. But the first one is from Motor Biscuit. They're both from Motor Biscuit. And the headline is, "Only one mid-sized truck is rated most reliable and safest, and it's not Toyota." I don't know how you can have more than one mid-sized truck rated most reliable and safest unless it was a tie. So it's just a terrible headline. Yeah, so spoiler alert, Toyota did not come in first. They came in second. So the Tacoma, the best-selling mid-sized truck, did not come in first. And the winner was Coy's favorite, the Honda Ridgeline. Thanks for the drum roll, Jeremy.
Yeah, you bet. I'm sure they're going to start flying off the shelves after this, right?
Yeah. Now that they've been named the number one mid-sized truck, they are most definitely going to be flying off the shelves.
All the guys on 4Runners or Washingtons are headed to a Honda dealer to trade in their 4Runners on Ridgeline as we speak.
Is that where Ben's at right now?
Yeah, Ben is at the Honda dealer right now, trading in 5 different vehicles and putting a big down payment so he can have one.
Yeah. Can you imagine though? Big rooftop tent, rack, max tracks. Like you just take a Ridgeline and outfit it to the max.
Coy, I bet you if you typed it into Facebook and joined a Facebook group for Ridgelines, you would see exactly what you're describing.
Anytime I see somebody defending Ridgelines, it's always they're like, "Hey, Ridgeline took number 1 in Baja in its class," and it's just like a fully built Ridgeline Baja 1000 truck. It's like, okay, yeah, that proves that the factory Ridgeline is super capable.
Yeah. So Kevin in the comments says number 1 mid-size minivan. I mean truck. And Mark says, aren't they unibody instead of body on frame? Mark, you are 100% right. They are the only mid-size truck that is a unibody. So I feel like it's in a class of its own because of
that unibody stuff. You're going to get a bunch of Cherokee guys running here getting all hot-headed over the unibody talk.
Yeah. So I have to read these couple sentences that is in this article. And just so everybody knows, the people who did this rating is a website called IC Cars, ISEE Cars. So it says the Honda Ridgeline has an updated is that do I need that sentence?
I don't know.
No, I don't need that sentence. I'm not sure why I gave you that sentence. Here we go. The unibody design gives a Ridgeline a smooth ride with best-in-class ride quality. IC Cars was amazed that, quote unquote, it is not the top-selling vehicle in its class because of its precise handling, comfortable ride, and sleek look.
So we're talking about like a 4-door saloon car, right?
Yes. Sleek.
From that statement.
What pickup trucks are sleek? They're generally pretty boxy. So yeah, comfortable ride. Well, it's unibody. It's going to definitely have a much more comfortable ride than a body on frame vehicle. And I believe that you'll get better handling because of that as well. But it's pretty silly. They're also saying that it's got more towing capacity than Tacoma, and it gets better fuel economy. Of course, it's going to get better fuel economy. It's lower. It's got more air dams. It's front wheel drive,
and it's only $12,000 more.
In the scoring, it got 10 out of 10 in safety. So I would like to point out that those safety figures also include safety for the people you run into. So you have to, if you really brought it into a more self-centered thing, is it really the safest car you can drive? Like, if it kills other people, but I'm always fine, that's the safest car you can drive.
That's all that matters is people inside.
I'm just saying those impact zones on the bumper aren't to slow you down. They're to embed a pedestrian in, and then maybe they don't die as quickly.
Yeah. So here's some information. Oh yeah, Jeremy, you were saying that it's $12,000 more. It starts at $12,000 more than a Toyota Tacoma, and that is for sure. So it's quite a bit more to just get into one. Although the Tacoma you can option out like $5,000 higher than the most expensive Ridgeline. So yeah, so sales figures, I thought I'd bring this up. The Ridgeline sold, this is a really big number, you guys, 41,355 vehicles. That's a whole lot. While the Toyota Tacoma is, and these are all of 2021 figures. So the Tacoma, the exact same year, only sold 252,520. So they only sold 6-1 Tacomas over Ridgelines.
Just a small percentage more, right?
Yeah, and the Ridgeline is the least selling midsize vehicle there is, or I should say midsize truck, not vehicle. So it is the bottom of the rung. Unless you count the GMC Canyon separately from the Colorado, the Canyon only did 24,000 compared to the Ridgeline's 41. So the Ford Ranger sold 94,000, Frontier 60,000, Colorado and Canyon combined 74,000. The Gladiator sold 89,000. Of all of those vehicles, the Toyota Tacoma makes up 40% of the midsize truck sales. So it's a big deal. I think people are okay with not having a 10 out in safety. They're going to keep buying these.
I honestly think that it would be a smooth move on Honda's part to take it out of that segment, because no one accepts it in mid-sized truck segment. And it's kind of its own thing anyways. Why don't we call it an Odyssey Ute from now on? And just blow out the doors. Like, we're in our own segment. Boom. It's the safe. It's
best in class.
Yeah. Best in class, because we're the only one in class,
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well,
like Odyssey Sport or something. Would Sport be better than Ute? Because we don't use Ute here in the U.S. Odyssey Sport.
Well, if you started using Ute, you might get a bunch of overlanders to buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or we could do it Subaru style, call it like an Odyssey Baja.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I would. It works. It works. I mean, especially if they just use the Odyssey and just chop the roof, and you'd have that third row back there. It'd be like the old Brat.
Yeah, I would actually be a lot more interested in it if it was that way.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, and I did this research back when I had a Honda Odyssey minivan, the second generation of the Ridgeline, which is this current model, uses the Honda Odyssey chassis. It's not the other way around. The minivan doesn't use the truck chassis. The truck uses the minivan chassis. They've beefed up upper and lower control arms and sway bars and taller struts. So I looked into it because I was curious if I could lift the minivan.
I was going to say, so could we actually beef up a Honda Odyssey minivan to be able to tow and carry what a Ridgeline can?
I would assume so. You just bolt it all up. It looked to be plug and play in my book. So this is one of the reasons why I need to own a wrecking yard as a side job.
The next article, again, as Aaron mentioned, comes from Motor Biscuit, and they kind of like this format on the headlines. Only one, because this one's another only one article. Only one pickup truck is no longer recommended by Consumer Reports.
Who?
Is it the Ridgeline? That would be funny.
That would be hilarious.
It is a Toyota, but it's not the Tacoma. It's the Tundra. So this recommendation is based off of customer satisfaction surveys and surveys to determine what repair costs were for that year of vehicle. And so the main issues they were having was, this must be a Toyota thing because Ben has this too, but they were losing trim pieces.
For those of you who don't know, last year Ben lost a trim piece on our snow run, and then when he was in Montana this past week, the same trim piece came off.
Yeah.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's a picture somewhere of us on the Alvord and that same trim piece is flying through the air.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if it's the same one, but it's the same body trim thing, whatever you call those, rocker paddle trim.
And now that you mention it, when he was in Montana over the summer or something like that, I think he has a picture of him with that trim piece flying away as well. So, yeah.
Well, I guess it's a Toyota thing. We wouldn't understand. And it's also had body hardware problems along with squeaks and leaks. One customer told Consumer Reports that they had a new truck and the roof was already leaking. Not a good look.
That's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Now, is the roof leaking or is there a sunroof in there?
I don't know.
Is it like some pinch seam? It'd be nice to know more, but
yeah, there wasn't anything in there. But
it's probably the windshield
that's a big
or the
deal.
brake light or something.
Yeah. The chief
that's a pretty
engineer.
big deal because. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, you can go ahead.
I'm just gonna say it's a big deal because Toyota is known for reliability, and I'm not trying to make any sort of jokes or anything. They are just known for making reliable vehicles. People can trust them and not have to worry about anything. So, yeah.
Although now I guess you can say that's the Honda.
Yeah.
Well, Honda had that too, just not for trucks.
Not for trucks. Yeah.
I would be curious to know because, like, there was the whole thing was a big deal. Broncos are losing motors left and right, and then I looked into it, and out of the umpteen thousand Broncos sold, they had 29 motors let go, which isn't really. But I mean, I know it's something, but it's not. And I think that number's up to 60 something last I had heard. Like, so there's a problem, but statistically, it's almost not going to affect you. I'm curious, kind of, if this is just it's a new vehicle, and I get it. If your windshield or you're having a leak in your headliner somewhere, like you're going to lose your crap and it's going to go all over every Facebook page and the internet. You're going to make a wave. People are going to share that. Is there hundreds of these doing that, or is it 21 and it's just,
it's a good question. Well, and the people that are going to respond to surveys are, especially this type of survey, are probably more of the people that are having the problems than people not having problems because they're mad about it.
Yeah.
But the chief engineer for the Tundra said that they've been having some issues since they've redesigned the Tundra, and they were claiming, I guess I didn't say, they were claiming that the matters stemmed from supply chain issues, semiconductor chip shortages, and various industry disruptions through the last year. So COVID, that's just the excuse for everything nowadays.
I love it. We couldn't get our chips, so your roof is leaking.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. It was not the
chip pieces are falling off, and you're having body hardware problems.
Well, they had to get the chips. They had to get the clips from a different factory that didn't make as robust clips. I don't know. I'm pretty much done with supply chain issues. Like, that's not an excuse anymore.
Nope.
It's not. It can't be.
Yeah. But the Tundra was not alone in losing their recommendation from Consumer Reports. Ford was also hit pretty hard here with the 2023 Ford Bronco Sport, which is having trouble with the anti-lock brake, engine issues, and unidentifiable noises.
First of all, though, which one of us didn't call that? Like, oh, I'm sure the Ford Bronco Sport is just a great vehicle. Like, everybody knew that was going to be trash, right? Like, right? Like, it doesn't even look like a good vehicle.
The other one that Ford lost there was the Mustang Mach-E. Apparently, they're having trouble with the electrical system, battery cells, and charging, which is pretty big for a electric vehicle, I would assume.
I was
I actually researched into a little bit. When they say electrical system, they mean the entire like high voltage wiring harness melting down and being unusable, turning the car to a complete brick.
That's a pretty big electrical system issue.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they have serious problems.
Yeah. Well, also that I heard some like really terrible QC things with the Mach E as well. My brother-in-law was riding in one I think in DC earlier in the month or late last month, and he was saying that it doesn't compare anything to what Tesla's putting out, which is what that vehicle is comparing to. And when he was talking to me about it, he was riding in our F-150 at the time, and he said that our F-150 was quieter and nicer inside than the Mach E. So that's pretty scary.
That is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
That video right there, every single time you play it, I go, oh, he's going to eat his line saver. I always think it's going. I should know by now it doesn't, but I always like, oh, here we go.
Just waiting for it, huh?
Yeah. It's going to change one of these days.
Well, I don't have that one on there anymore. I got tired of dealing with it trying to put the winch line in, so I got to remove it.
It got eaten.
No, it didn't get eaten. It just always was a pain in the rear. Well, sometimes it would get eaten. And then it would stop my winch drum from spooling out.
Well, it's the holidays. Ben had too much eggnog, so he's not here tonight. But we made it, and we wanted to put out a show for you guys, even though everybody's busy. And this one's going to be the main topic's going to be a little short, maybe a little silly, but we just want to get an episode out. So basically what we did was we went through the alphabet. And as you can see behind Coy, he really helped out a lot by telling us which letters came after what. And we
are there two C's?
We came up with items
one of
for
these
each
has
thing.
like dots or apostrophe over it. Okay,
Yeah.
I got the French alphabet over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
So yeah. So I figure we'll just kind of go through the alphabet and spit out some things that have to do with off-roading with those letters. So this is kind of a chintzy throwaway episode, but we're gonna have fun with it. So and I'm gonna start with the first one because it's the first letter of my name. And Jeremy, why don't you go next so that Coy can have C? Because that's the first letter of his name. And we'll see where J lines out. But since Ben isn't here, he doesn't even get to do B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So A is for airing down, axles, and awnings. And feel free in the comments to type in anything else you can think of with these letters, because we're not going to think of everything.
And we didn't even try to think of everything that was in our mind.
Yeah.
We just got enough and then went from there. Well, B is for bumpers and bead locks.
C is for coilovers and Colby valves.
There you go. D is for dead man anchors and ditches.
E is for exo cages.
F is for first aid, fuel, and fair leads.
G is for gladiator, gazelle tents, and Gaia, which I still struggle.
H is for half doors, hubs, and high lifts.
I is for icon shocks. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, think of all right. What else can we put in there for I? Igloo coolers.
Sure, I still rock an Igloo. I don't have that fridge money.
Fridge money.
I think Aaron's technically J.
Yeah, I am J. So J is for jerry cans, jack stands, JCR off road, and Jeremy not wheeling.
It hurts, but it's true. I haven't wheeled in a while. K is for kinetic ropes.
Well, my rig is up on jack stands currently, so not much better.
L is for
Oh, there
lumen
you go.
lock. Intercooler.
Intercooler. Yeah, there you go. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
I is for intercooler. Yeah.
L is for lumen lockers. Is it lockers or we're just going full lumen locker?
Lumen locker.
LED light bar and lockers.
M is for mud terrain, molly panels, and Moab.
N is for the Nora 1000.
Yeah, we really struggle with the N also. So you guys out there think of some N's. Ben's got independent suspension. So I could be for IFS.
I thought he was writing that for N, and I'm like, Ben, no, stop.
Independent suspension.
How it works.
It's phonetically right.
The dogbotics
Mark-
didn't work for you.
Mark must like power adders because his I was intercooler and now his N is nitrous. So I'm not sure if many off-roaders run a nitrous. In fact, I bet I'm the only one on the show that's ever run nitrous in a vehicle.
I haven't.
That would be true.
I've always said I don't know how much nitrous my motor's going to handle, but I know how much I'm going to use.
I don't know how I didn't think about this sooner, but N is also for Northridge.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
O is for overland radio and off camber.
And off camber brewing.
I mean, it could just be for overland as well.
Yeah.
And then the thousands of companies that start with overland.
There you go. Kevin says N is for Nitto, and Josh says N is for newbie.
Yeah.
P is for portals, and PayPal, and PayPal for when you're buying your parts.
R is for rock crawling, roof racks.
Oh, hold up. We forgot a Q here.
Oh, we forgot Q. You're right. I
We
jumped.
got quick disconnect sway bars.
We got some more P's. We got P is for passenger and P is for poor people. And
Ugh,
that's
poor
what
people.
that's what off-roading does to you is it makes you a poor person.
Yeah, it does. R is for rock crawling, roof rack, red line, and rock hard 4x4.
Not who's rock hard 4x4.
They make Jeep stuff. You wouldn't know about them.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, good. Here we go. S. Oh, Q is for questionable decisions.
S is for scuttle.
Is that the questionable
Soft
decision?
tackles, snorkel, and sand hollow.
R is for recovery also. AA and AAA. T is for trails, twin traction beam, and trasharoo.
U is for UTV and U joints.
Yeah. Help us get some more U ideas, you guys out there. Utah, yeah. Mark's here with the power adders again. He's got superchargers.
He likes some power adders.
T is for turbo.
I got a feeling that Mark was a writer back in the day, almost certainly, or maybe still is. V is for vacuum actuated locker, Vision X lights, and my other favorite things.
W is for worn winches. It's also for winches. and wheels.
And X is for Extreme XJ.
Yay, XJ.
It's got that unibody. That's why they ride so good. Like,
Yeah.
like a ridge bike. Why they have such a nice ride and they're so quiet. Just you can't tell you're in a truck. Y is for Yukon gears.
Yeah, get us some more Y things. And last but not least, Z is for ZR2 and ZJ and the zebra painted off-road rig in Ace Ventura.
I was wondering where you're going with that. I was thinking if you're going to just say some random rig you've seen in your town or something.
No, I haven't seen any zebra rigs around. Josh says Y is for Yobos. I don't know what Yobos is. Y-O.
Sounds Nigerian.
Yobos. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Well, I'm sure we've missed a lot because we just did that very quickly. But so right into the show with your favorite one that we missed, or maybe it's hate mail. I don't know. There's a particularly good one. I'm sure we'll read it on the show.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's probably the shortest main topic we've ever had. But we got every letter of the alphabet included in our main topic. So I would say it's pretty complete if we got every letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, we didn't miss anything.
Mm-mm.
No.
And so with that, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Pre-Happy New Year. And then but we will be here next Monday also, which is that New Year's Day? Or
It'll be the hangover show.
Yeah. Glad you're hanging out, Gun Middle guy. That's great. Ben says P is for patch that Jeremy doesn't have yet. So Merry Christmas. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody sharing. This was a great live group we had tonight. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for helping us grow, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve to see all their great gear. We're a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a comment or question? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.net or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe, and courteous. Thanks for listening.